Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the finale of Let's Play Darksiders. We're in the abandoned Garden of Eden, left to rot, but still kind of pretty. It's a little bit autumnal. This is going to be a pretty cutscene-heavy opening. There's a lot of cutscenes in Eden. We're going to walk into the first one now.
There's no way across.
There is. For those who are worthy.
Or those who can fly.
Horsemen, you have fought against the darkness so long that it has mocked you. Creatures of the light will sense it, as I have. In this place, you are worse than a demon. Conquer the shadow, then you may pass. Are you ready to face yourself in the light? Not all are prepared for what they see.
The mask of shadows.
Yes. You will see into the shadow realm for as long as you wear the mask. Fight well.
So, this is our Lens of Truth analog, the Mask of Shadows. Makes War's eyes glow when you wear it, and it looks pretty cool. It actually looks like Death's mask from the second game. And upon putting it on for the first time in the Garden of Eden, we have to fight Shadow War. I love this trope. Every time it crops up, I never get sick of this. Shadow War is just... he's a bit weaker. He's a bit weaker than you. He's a shittier version of yourself. Which... I don't know. If I'm judging this by, like, character action standards... not ideal. Ideally, you want, like, your nemesis, rival character, the character that mirrors you, to do everything that you can do except a little bit better. But he is a shittier version of our Blade Geyser. He has our Flip Saw attack that does a little bit of an AoE. And he even has our Chaos Form, which we're going to take a couple swipes at him. And since we have Chaos Form built up, we're going to activate that, and that'll end the fight pretty quickly. Boom. Couple swipes, and that'll be the trigger to end the fight. I don't think it's damage-based.
Heaven's first gift awaits you. I will remain here with the Watcher.
I'm not letting the horseman out of my sight. Where he goes, I go.
Indeed. Go then, Darkly. Make for the tree. You will never reach the other side.
Hurry up. And don't forget who holds the leash.
When you put the Mask of Shadows on, it reveals all of these hidden features in the environment. Like that very cool looking bridge. Now, one comment about that cutscene. They spend so much time building the Watcher up as someone you just hate, that you just want to give his comeuppance to, that he serves as a better antagonist than the actual antagonist of the game, the Destroyer. Because still, even now, we don't know that much about him. We know, well, I don't know. He did kind of cause the end of humanity, but there's something here that it's just, you don't feel the stakes, or at least you don't feel the heat from the Destroyer. And it's because his presence isn't felt that much, directly anyway. The aftermath of what he did, of what Abaddon did, is all around you, but you never really see him. We only just kind of learned that he's the Destroyer. And in fact, if you think about it, his motivation in the first place was kind of righteous. Everything from there just went awry. It's not a good person or angel or character per se, but the game does a way better job of building up the Watcher as like your actual antagonist. So now that we're done on our diversion for the abyssal armor piece and the wrath shard, we can come up here and commune with the tree of knowledge. Something which has never, ever gone wrong before for anybody.
Would you serve in heaven or rule in hell?
The storm is coming, Uriel. Soon, I will need you at my side.
I would follow you into hell, my lord.
They knew. How did they?
The best laid plans, or so the humans used to say.
You did this?
You plotted and schemed to call us to this world. I simply took advantage of your initiative.
No.
I will consider this an offering, Abaddon. And you, my loyal servant, join me and take up the mantle of the Destroyer.
No.
Once the throne learns what you've done, you'll be cast down, dragged in chains before the council. You're already damned. So I offer you this choice. Would you serve in heaven or rule in hell? Now, return to Azrael. Persuade him to help us. Then, together, we will change the face of the universe.
Abaddon must be punished. He bends the law to his will, laughs in the face of the council.
What proof do we have? The seals are intact. No doubt the angel had help, but from whom? Until we know, we must wait.
His act breeds open defiance. The council weakens. How long before we are overthrown?
We cannot stop Abaddon, but there are others who might, if they had reason.
We dare not send the fall. Without proof, there is no justice. Only murder. They will see no reason in this assassination.
We will send one, for whom vengeance is reason enough.
The blade is scattered. I guard the seventh seal. This world is ours. Heaven is ours.
You had to know it was a one-way ticket.
So War now finds out that the council is corrupt. They're gonna betray him. And over here is the Armageddon Blade. The blade that was used to destroy the seals in the first place. That cutscene is laid out confusing as hell. It makes it look like Uriel betrays Abaddon, but no. So what I get out of it is Abaddon's plan to launch a preemptive strike on Hell fails. He is quote-unquote killed, and he's taken back to Eden by Azrael, where he visits the Tree of Knowledge. the same tree where Eve was tempted by the serpent and took the apple. Similarly, Abaddon is tempted by a demon known as Lilith, and he knows that if he chooses to... Whoa, hold on.
Well?
Abaddon is the destroyer.
The Archangel?
He was betrayed. He is only a pawn in some greater game.
You must bring him peace.
Peace? Abaddon is the destroyer. I'm pretty sure peace is off the table.
Did you find any clues among the visions? A way to stop him?
There was a sword. One which broke the seals.
The Armageddon Blade. But after the seals were broken, Abaddon ordered the blade destroyed on the very anvil of its creation. Horsemen, I fear the blade is lost to us now.
It will be made again.
What else did you see?
Abaddon guards the seventh seal. He plots with others to storm the White Gates. Uriel will lead the Hellguard against him and fail.
What else did you see?
I saw nothing else.
I will open the gate to Eternus. Once it is closed, the garden and its secrets will be lost forever. When you are ready, I will begin.
Like I was saying, Abaddon is tempted by a demon known as Lilith, and he knows that if he chooses to go back to heaven, he'll be punished for his treachery. So he opts to become the Destroyer instead. That's where that line comes in. Better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven. That, by the way, is a twist on a famous quote from Paradise Lost, uttered by Satan. Better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. Lilith, I think, is originally Babylonian in origin, and she went on to be incorporated into Abrahamic mythology, where she is said to have been the first wife of Adam, and she's usually depicted as a demon. In Darksiders lore, I think she's the bride of Lucifer or something to that effect, or some kind of, like, agent of the devil. Something confuses me about the cutscene where War gives them the news about Abaddon. Azrael and the Watcher react to it like it's a new revelation. Azrael had to have already known because he tells the Watcher in War about that back in the Black Throne.
He will help you. He must help you. Abaddon will have scattered the sword's remains, hidden them where none that walk in the light could find them.
The Shadow Realm.
Yes. Use the Mask of Shadows. Assemble the broken blade. Then, return it to the forge of the Black Hammer. When this is done, return to me. Perhaps I can serve you one last time before the end.
Azrael, at any time you could have left me to my fate. Dead in the tower, lost among the ashes of Eden. Why do you help me now? When this is over, the Council will see that justice is done. I will kill Abaddon, and all who schemed with him.
We all must answer for our sins, horsemen. When the hour of my judgment comes, I will embrace it. Whatever the light decides. Go, waste no more time on me. And tell Othane, he is the last hope of an old fool. The blade was scattered over this ruined world. Find the pieces, forge them at the hand of the Black Hammer, then return.
So we use the Mask of Shadows, and the first piece of the Armageddon Blade, the first of 7, is a freebie. Also, I really like that one line, the last hope of an old fool. It's a nice callback, because that is exactly what Ulthane called him in an earlier cutscene, an old fool. So we're at the top of the Leviathan's Drift, overlooking the Ashlands. This is the arena where we fought the Stygian, and on the world map, you can see where we're going to have to journey to put this whole thing back together. Now, coming up, there's going to be a lot of cutting. I'm going to grab a few things, and then there's going to be a boss fight, and then I'm going to cut into post-commentary for this middle bit. Not in post-commentary yet, but the first cut that we're going to make is a fast travel to the dry road. Now, we have to come to the dry road for two reasons. One is because there's actually a chest that's not so well hidden, containing a wrath shard in this serpent hole. And the next is because we actually need to hit the dry road to pick up one of the pieces of the blade. So we'll be cutting again in a second. We're back in the dry road. We recognize this area, so we have a piece of the Armageddon Blade that's really easily accessible to us, and also a boss fight.
This is no ambush, horsemen. I come alone. I, Uriel of the Hellguard, champion of the White City, call you, horsemen, to Nex Sacramentum.
Fool.
I lay claim to your life before the Creator. Will you dishonor this law as well?
Why?
Because Abaddon said you understood honor, and because he was the best of us.
The death oath cannot be broken until one falls by the hand of the other. I accept.
It's Uriel again. Moon Bloodgood shows back up. This duel is going to be a lot more intense than the first one we fought way back before, actually, no, it was right after we first met Ulthane, back in, the Drowned Pass. So, she isn't that much different. She still does her shockwave attack, although it comes in, like, 3 bursts now. Her other 2 attacks are new. She does this, which you avoid just by kind of running in circles. She'll try to lead you and cut you off, and as she takes more damage as the fight goes longer and longer, she'll do more and more of those pillars of light. But for the most part, these are her, actually 3 or 4 moves. She does have that melee combo she occasionally does. She has her shockwave, which doesn't reach very far. That leaves her all tuckered out. She has her Pillars of Light, the summon sword thing, which she should start doing way, way more aggressively now. Yeah, this is already starting to last longer. But yeah, run in circles. She'll try to cut you off. Just avoid going in straight lines here, and you'll be fine. That's about all you have to do to avoid that. And she has projectile attacks still. Like, right here. Only 2? Okay. This is a lot more intense a duel and a lot more fun than the first time we fight her, because this one actually has enough time to build up to a fun crescendo. The first one is kind of over before it even begins, and this is kind of why I like this boss more than perhaps any other in the game. She's also probably one of the hardest bosses in the game. Which, granted, is still not too hard, but much tougher than any of the Guardians, certainly much tougher than Straga, tougher than most of the final boss. Bit of light teasing. The second half of the final boss is a fun duel, kind of like the Uriel ones. At times it can be a little bit difficult on Apocalyptic, but I don't think I'm going to have too many problems with it.
Harvest this wench! War? Don't you dare walk away from me!
The next sacramentum is mine. I decide when the angel dies, not you.
You swore an oath to me.
Abaddon is the destroyer.
Liar!
To protect you, he kept you from the truth. You pledged to follow your lord into hell, never knowing what awaited you, or what he would become.
Abaddon.
He was betrayed and became the enemy of all creation. I've been to the tree. Its gift was truth, and I share it with you now. Remember the death oath. Soon it must be fulfilled.
They do some very cool little flourishes with the camera work in that. Like, nothing like that shows up in the rest of the game. This piece of the Armageddon Blade is also kind of a freebie. You have to go through Uriel to get it, but it's not that hard to access. Some of the other Armageddon pieces will actually require a little bit of light puzzle solving, and this is about the time where I'm going to start cutting ahead a lot because there's a lot to collect. And so, for the next 20 minutes or so, however long this takes, once I get this cut down in post, this will be in post commentary, so I'll see you in a second. Alright, I am back in post commentary. So, like I said, the reason that I'm doing post right now is because there's going to be a lot of quick cutting back and forth between areas, so I can pick up things like Wrath Shards and Lifestone Shards, and since we're in the Ashlands, this is also going to be the place where we get the last piece of the Armageddon Blade. These bombs are hidden unless you use the Mask of Truth. So we pick one of those up, we blow the red crystals up using the torch on the wall, because these are inert bombs. And at this point, I still need the Mask of Shadows, right? Forgot about that. Every piece of the Armageddon Blade is going to require you to have the Mask of Shadows on in order to see the anvil that it rests upon. So once you blow the red crystals up, there's nothing that you really have to do in the vein of puzzle solving other than just make your way up here using the path that you created. Quick note about the Mask of Shadows and switching to other items, as you saw there. If you don't have the mask actively on one of your hotkey slots, if you don't have it on but you have the effect activated, it will eventually fade. It takes about 5 seconds for it to wear off if you switch to like the hookshot or something. Alright, so next up, I think we move over to this, which is going to lead to the Overlord artifact. This is going from swinging from the second drilling platform to the top of the third. This is something that I couldn't do the first time I was in the Ashlands because I didn't have the abyssal chain yet. So you can deactivate this drill and then drop to the very bottom of the drilling platform over here, the one that we never touched, fall through the hole, and this leads right out to the Overlord artifact, the only one like it. This emblem bears the mark of the tyrannical general of the Legion armies. His name has long since been forgotten, but the husk of his formidable strength still lingers with this totem. Return it to Volgrim and he will reward you. Again, that's in all likelihood Samael's own artifact. And that gives us just about every artifact now. We're missing 2 champions and 1 soldier artifact, which we will get in due time. So, more stuff that I missed in the Ashlands that I couldn't get because I didn't have the abyssal chain. This is back where we got a Lifestone Shard earlier. You swing over here, you get Strife's Offering, which is another legendary enhancement. If you haven't picked up by now, all the legendary enhancements are themed after the 4 horsemen: Strife, Fury, War, and Death. This one gives you a good amount of bonus damage for your projectile attacks, specifically your pistols. Plus, you get a lot of Wrath on killing blows, you get Chaos on killing blows. That's all cool stuff. And there is one more thing that I'm missing in the Ashlands. This one is really well hidden because it took me forever to get. We've actually used this geyser before. We used this to get up to Demonic Growth on the left in a prior episode to get to a soldier artifact. I didn't realize there were red hookshot points here for a long, long time. And I went through all of this without using a guide, so I wasted like 10 minutes looking around here trying to figure out how to get on top of this drilling platform. Because there's a chest up here, and there's another red hookshot point that you have to get to. And now at the top, I think this is the very first drilling platform. At the top, there's this special-looking chest, which contains the final abyssal armor piece. So we've now crafted the entire abyssal armor. I think that cutscene bugged out. Oh, I think there was supposed to be a sound effect there. So we get this really snazzy-looking black armor. We get the bragging rights of saying we've completed it. It greatly reduces the amount of damage you receive, and there's also kind of what was the enhancement called? Ravager? Is that the one? Or no, it's Bloodthirst. There's a Bloodthirst effect on it, where while you're wearing the abyssal armor, every strike you deal regains a little bit of your health. So the Ashlands is probably the zone in the game where I missed out on the most stuff because I didn't have the Abyssal Chain. Almost all of the stuff that I missed here is Abyssal Chain based. So this is actually the access tunnel from the dry roads into the Ashlands. This is another one that's really, really easy to miss. Back where there was a soul chest over there in the room with the 3 Gormaws, you can grapple up to a Wrath Shard, which is maybe one of the easiest items to miss in the game. Now, when you turn the Overlord artifact into Vulgrim, he gives you 5,000 souls and also an entire completed wrathcore. Now I journey back to the library in the Crossroads. There are 2 things here, again, both of which are accessible only with the Abyssal Chain. Still, I'm trying not to call it the hook shot, but it's hard. Also, these guys bothered me to no end, so I think I wound up baseball swinging. No, just stingering them off the edge so they couldn't bother me anymore. So it doesn't look like you'll make it, but you can just kind of barely float across that gap, collect a soldier's artifact, and then you do the same thing up here. You swing up again, and I didn't realize this is where this Wrathcore was, or Wrath Shard rather. But you swing across to the other side here, and there is yet another hidden item concealed with a grapple point in the library in the Crossroads. There's a lot of stuff in that tiny little library. And then out here, this is also still in the Crossroads. Couldn't have gotten this at the beginning of the game because we needed the Tremor Gauntlet, but it's the Hellfire enhancement, which is the final enhancement that we've been missing. I think I might have bought in Bane off screen, the one enhancement that you have to buy from Vulgrim. Now we're moving on to the Armageddon Blade piece that's hidden here in the Crossroads. So you have to put the Mask of Shadows on. That reveals some of these shadow currents, or shadow geysers, I think they're called. One of the 2. You switch to the hook shot to grapple yourself onto the roof of this building, and then you get another shadow geyser that boosts you up, and you can get up here. There is a fucking terrible hidden chest right below you, and it's one of those ones where you have to fulfill a criteria before it spawns. Here I'm just showing that once you turn in all of the soldier artifacts, he gives you a lifestone shard. It's one of those ones where you have to do something to get the chest to spawn, and in the Crossroads, you have to destroy every single fire hydrant. And the chest only has a few hundred souls in it, so it's not even fucking worth it. I spent, and I'm not kidding you, 45 minutes in the Crossroads looking for the one fire hydrant I missed. And I combed every inch of that map, could not find it, gave up. It's like a chest with 500 souls or some shit. It's ridiculous. So it either bugged out for me, or I somehow, in 45 minutes of scouring that area, completely missed it. Anyway, I believe that was the penultimate piece of the Armageddon Blade. That was in the Choking Grounds. Back where we climbed into that square building by the Stone Watcher gate for a few items a while back. Now, this is the Serpent Hole, which leads out to the Twilight Cathedral. There is also a hidden item in this Serpent Hole. I think there are 3 or 4 Serpent Holes total in the game, which conceal hidden items. In this one, this Serpent Hole is actually really big compared to most of them, especially the path that you have to go down to get to this hidden chest. You have to follow a bunch of shadow geysers. You have to follow the path mostly all the way around. But you do get a piece of a heart out of it. A fragment of a heart piece. Now, there's another reason that I went through the Serpent Hole to the Twilight Cathedral, because now that we have the Abyssal Chain, we can swing over here, which is far off on the left of the cathedral. There's a soul chest over here. That's not the only reason that I chose to come to this location.
Oh, bravo! The last horse finally crosses the finish line.
I feel like that line should be the last horseman. It's Wicked K again! There are 4 total Wicked K fights in the game. This time when you fight him, he has one new move. He throws his top hat at you like Kung Lao. And he still does his cool little cane sword combos. Still does a lot of damage if you hit him, but disappears into his top hat, gives you a bunch of souls when you beat him. That's 2 out of 4 that we've done in this LP so far. I do show off all 4. So now, oh god, what's the name of this area? The Broken Stair. It's one of the more generic names. This one's easy. You just come into the building that you have to go through anyway. You come upstairs. This one's pretty easy to get. There's no puzzle solving that you have to do to get to this one. There's no platforming, really. Now, this is, I believe, the Drowned Pass access tunnel. We place a portal up there at the beginning of the tunnel, and then we jump on the fan and fall into this hallway and grapple over. There's a Shadow Geyser right there. Before we place another portal, there's a champion artifact, which leaves 1 remaining in this playthrough. So now we can place the other part of the Voidwalker portal down. And we use the Shadow Current to boost up into it, which spits us out in the one that we placed way earlier at the beginning of the access tunnel. For another Wrath Shard. And a completed wrathcore. My count is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, shit, it disappeared. I think that might be the last one. It's either the 9th or the 10th total. This is another cool one. This is back where we first used the Chronomancer for the very first time. So we do something similar. Except now we've placed down a Voidwalker portal behind us. You're still going through the gate. This is something that I don't think you've noticed unless you played the game, because I certainly didn't point this out, but if you turn around while that gate closes, you'll see that there's a Voidwalker portal there as well. And this is a really cool, cleverly constructed puzzle, because we have to lift that gate, and we want that gate to stay in the fully lifted up position. So we go back to the other side, we lift the gate up, I wait a second, and then I hit the Chronosphere, so the gate is fully lifted up and time is stopped. And that spits us out to this ledge that you would never see otherwise. And that gives us our final legendary enhancement, Death's Blessing. Themed after the only other horseman to get his own game. Which, yeah, it converts damage to health, increases weapon damage, additional soul rewards when assigned to the scythe. Cool stuff. Not something I ever really get to take advantage of in this playthrough because I get it so late. Because you do need the Voidwalker for it, which you only get in the Black Throne. And now the Drowned Pass is where we're going to be spending a good portion of the remainder of our time. First off, here's the Vulgrim location that I somehow missed. He's just right on the fork in the road. We use the Abyssal Chain to grapple over to this health chest. That Abyssal Chain point is located right next to Vulgrim.
Bravo! The last horse finally
Over here to, I believe this is the left of the critical path here. There's a third Wicked K fight, and you saw him catch on fire there. That's the Hellfire Enhancement's passive bonus. it occasionally lights enemies on fire for minor damage over time. And Wicked K's third attack that he uses is that little AoE he does under your feet where he summons his top hat. Now, this is me getting I believe this is the final piece of the Armageddon Blade.
That's it. The last piece of that accursed blade. Now, get back to Ulthane and finish this business.
All I had to do there was put the Mask of Shadows on to reveal a hookshot point. This serpent hole is the one that leads to Anvil's Ford. I'm sorry, I forgot the music here was so good. That's such a different track from the rest of the game's soundtrack. It actually sounds more like Darksiders 2's soundtrack. This is again in the... This should be the Drown Pass. It's either Drown Pass or Anvil's Ford. No, it's Drown Pass. So you just backtrack all the way from like the Volgrim location to the blue crystals back there that are a pain in the ass to get. Speaking of blue crystals, there is a tunnel under those blue crystals. And sandwiched between two barriers of blue crystals, there is, I believe, the final wrath piece. This one, I actually don't know how I missed the first time I was here. Actually, no, the first time I came here to collect all the things, like the abyssal armor piece that was here, the artifacts, all that stuff. Yeah, that was before I got the Tremor Gauntlet, so that's how I missed that. And then this, we backtrack for one more Champion's artifact that's right off of the Scalding Gallows going into the Broken Stair, I believe. So that gives us every single artifact, the Overlord artifact, all 6 Champion artifacts, and all of the Soldier artifacts. Now we just have a few things to collect. But Wicked K guards the final collectible, which I was wrong with what I said before. This coming up is the final Wrath piece. And Wicked K blocks me a lot in this fight. I'm not sure if like blocking is the same property for enemies as it does for War, because when War blocks an enemy attack, he still takes partial damage, it's just greatly reduced. I wasn't sure here if enemies who block take partial damage as well, just like War. It's a pain in the ass to open him up. He really only takes 1 or 2 actual hits after his combo. So I resorted to using a lot of my Wrath here, which is fine because I'm about to refill that anyway when I pick the chest up. Oh, you saw that I had 3/4 of a completed heart piece before. I don't know if I left this in, but when you turn in all of the champion artifacts to Volgrim, he gives you the last 1/4 of the heart piece that you need to max out your life completely. Same with the soldier artifacts, so you get a 1/2 of a heart piece just for turning in every artifact, plus a full wrathcore for the Overlord one. And that gives us a full stock of Wrath. That is every single collectible in the game. We're ready to get back on the critical path. So let's go visit Ulthane. Okay, I should have every collectible now, so we're back to live commentary. And it is good to see Ulthane again.
My greatest work.
Until now.
The Armageddon Blade. This is our master sword. And, it doesn't require any leveling up. It starts off maxed out, stronger by a good margin than the Chaos Eater. I think it even looks better. Now that we've acquired that, we have one more big cut we have to make to get back to the Leviathan's Drift. So I'll see you in a sec.
This is for all the cookies, horsemen. When you proceed, there's no return.
The Watcher flat out stating that this is the point of no return, this is the endgame. We've reforged the Armageddon Blade. Now we're ready to return to Azrael so that we can face off with the Destroyer.
It's Abaddon. Uriel has led the Hellguard against him. It is as you foretold. The Hellguard will fall.
Angel of Death, serve me one last time.
She mistook me for someone else. She loved him, and I believe that he loved her long ago, before all this. Foolishly, he chose duty above all, and died for it. Will you do the same? Heaven hunts you. Hell hates you. All of creation cares not whether you live or die. Join me, war. Like a great sword, I will raise you up, and our enemies will shatter against us. The spoils of 1,000 victories will be yours. Or serve the justice of a corrupt council, and a creator who abandons his most faithful. I offer you this choice, horseman. Would you serve in heaven, or rule in hell?
I choose what once a coward did not.
Abaddon the Destroyer. Looks really cool, but runs kind of weird. Kind of like, I don't know, a big cat or something, or a big dog. Also, the cutscene makes him look huge, but compared to War and Ruin, he's actually not that big. Which kind of dampens the intimidation factor a lot. And it doesn't help that this part of the fight is piss easy. This is all we have to do over and over again. He kind of circles this giant open arena. We chase him down on Ruin. He'll occasionally try to dive bomb you. The tracking on the dive bomb isn't that intense. You just use up one carrot to boost, and he doesn't really stand a chance of actually hitting you. When you see one of his claws glow red, he's going to take a swipe from that side, so just try to avoid that or he'll knock you off your horse and waste a bunch of your time. But this is the first part of the Destroyer. That's all we really have going for this part, which is disappointing because this is a shit fight to end things off. This is our final boss. Oh, he almost hit me there. No, he did hit me. He did damage. I thought that was supposed to knock you off a Ruin. Yeah, so you just catch up with him, which isn't hard to do. You get close, take a swing from horseback, a swing and a miss, and you just ruin him. This kind of drags on for a while, too. He's getting more damage. Oh no, I thought he was going to go for 3 dive bombs that time. He's occasionally hitting me. The little bit of life leech from the abyssal armor, though, is more than making up for the couple of bits of damage he's done. His second phase I like a lot. It's more of a Uriel-esque duel, which hopefully we'll get to in a second. Eventually, once you do enough damage for him and you get back on horseback, he'll charge you and you'll get a B prompt, which should be happening any moment now, probably after this series of dive bombs. He needed to be bigger, he needed to be more dangerous, and he needed to do more, or require more. Like, it shouldn't just be a straight gimmick fight. It shouldn't be Bed of Chaos or something. But there should be a little bit more going on here. Like, force you to use your tools to stun him, and then just go to town on him with the Armageddon Blade. I think this is just bad boss design. Guessing 2 more, including this one. That should give you a good idea of how damaged he is. Oh, I guess not. I guess he's not beat up enough yet. No, there we go. There's the B prompt. Abaddon at this point transforms into a character I want to play as. He looks cool as hell. This is also a much more engaging, much more fun part of the fight. Mashing and everything, because it's just a straight duel, and he does a lot more. He's a lot more dangerous. He's harder to avoid. And we have this. If this was Revengeance... This is a part that happens in Revengeance at the end of the last boss fight. If this was Revengeance, you would be just fucking going into blade mode and cutting all that stuff up. Oh, shit. Comboed me a little bit. It was a little bit of a juggle. Yeah, I can't get over how good that design looks. It's like an angelic samurai. So every time you get one of these mashing prompts, you could consider that kind of like a chunk off his, like a segmented life bar. I think you have to do that maybe a total of 3 times, so this isn't going to last nearly as long as that dragon phase, and we'll use the invincibility from Chaos Form, just so I don't have to think too hard avoiding those rocks. And that is something else I wanted to show off. He will immediately just blast you out of Chaos Form if you pop it during this part of the fight. Because they knew. And at this point, he's damaged enough that he starts introducing a few new moves like that teleport and charge. So we have to figure out where he's gone to and then side dash to avoid the charge. This is a cool fight. I like duels like this a lot more than that shitty dragon phase.
You have taught me something, Abaddon. Sometimes duty must be cast aside to do what must be done. It is not for duty that I kill you now.
Uriel.
reap what you have sown, betrayer.
You had to know it was a one-way ticket.
Council.
They knew you'd never play executioner because of your precious honor. They let you take the fall. They knew you'd butcher everyone involved to clear your name. And you did.
No!
Patience, whore. I've got some for you, too. I'll take that. If it were to get broken, you might get ideas. Like not going back in your little cage. It's tragic, really. You had freedom in the palm of your hand, and you lost it. What's so damn funny? Even you wouldn't laugh at your own funeral.
I'm laughing at yours.
Next sacramentum. The death oath is complete.
Hell God, bitch! What did you do? No! I'm going to pull your guts out through your halo! Keep getting up. I'll just kill you again. I was just following orders, like you. What are you going to do? Fight the council? Fight everyone? You'll never get away. You hear me? Never! Don't forget who holds the leash.
I haven't forgotten.
You knew. You knew what would happen here, what I would do. That's why you spared me.
No.
Then why?
Because I would not have the last of heaven's honor die with its champion.
All debts are repaid. The duty I uphold, it may call me to raise my sword against you. And if that day comes, I won't hesitate. You will be hunted. The White City for certain. The Council, and there will be others. You would wage this war alone?
No. Not alone.
Rest in peace, Vigil. Rest in peace, Vigil. Hopefully, Nordic and the kind of reformed Vigil in Spirit team gets to continue their work on Darksiders one day, because I would genuinely love to see this franchise continued. I'm very, very invested in 1 and 2. 1 was such a pleasant, out-of-nowhere surprise, and 2 was a really good follow-up to that fixed a lot of 1's problems. It introduced some of its own, but, you know, that's kind of expected. Oh, God. I still get chills every time I see the very last shot of the other 3 horsemen streaking into view. That's it, guys. That is Darksiders. Darksiders 1, anyway. So, what I liked and what I hated. What I hated, the Ashlands, the third tower of the Black Throne. Some of the M-Boss was a bit weak. The Endgame Collectathon, I mean, I guess I don't have that much of a problem with it now on my third playthrough. I really felt burned by that Endgame Collectathon just coming out of nowhere the first time I played this. But I think most of the rest of the game holds up really well. I think the plot especially... You know, I really like the plot of this game a lot. And all of the mythological liberties that they take. Like, it sometimes feels like window dressing to hang their own ideas on, but for the most part it works really well. The voice acting, I've been saying from the beginning, is incredible. Like, this is one of my favorite voice casts in games. And that's, like, no exaggeration at all. It has some very, very memorable characters. I especially love Samael and Ulthane, as I've gushed over a lot throughout this playthrough. It plays really, really well. You have a lot of tools in your arsenal. Like, even just in terms of combat tools, between the abyssal chain, your sword, the tremor gauntlets, and the scythe. Just that stuff alone, plus, like, a lot of your other utility items have some kind of situational combat applications. The combat engine in this game feels really solid. Not character action worthy, but just solid as hell. And you could do some cool swag stuff with it. Plus, yeah, like, a lot of your tools, the puzzle-solving ones, are just a lot of fun. The hookshot and the Voidwalker especially. And it leaves a lot of good things to come in Darksiders 2, which has some equally inventive stuff in it. And a much improved, overhauled combat engine, a lot of cool RPG elements, a much better art style, better environments. Actually, the art style isn't... The art style remains unchanged, it's the environment art that improves a lot. Which is one of, I feel, the weaker aspects of this game, until you get to certain parts of, like, the Drowned Pass and the Hollows looks really cool. The Black Throne is a really nice looking area. I love, love, love Eden, even though you spend so little time there, which is kind of a waste of assets if you think about it. But for a lot of the environments, I feel like they're kind of bland. Especially the destroyed cityscapes. It's a sacrifice they have to make for the story premise, because it takes place during the end times. So they do a good job in repurposing certain parts of, like, the destroyed cityscape. Like, I like that the Hollows is set in that subway station, but a lot of it ends up looking bland and kind of gray, and it doesn't do anything for this really cool stylized art style. Character designs are comic booky and just over-designed and just fun. Over-designed in a good way. Yeah, I like Darksiders a lot. I'm a really big fan of this whole series, which is unfortunately short-lived. But again, I hope they get to do Darksiders 3 one day. I would love to see where they go. After how much they improved from Darksiders 1 to Darksiders 2, they seem to really take feedback to heart. So I have no doubt that Darksiders 3 would improve even more over Darksiders 2, and I already kind of love Darksiders 2. I'm gushing now. Speaking of which, a lot of you, like a metric ton of you, have been asking if I'm going to do Darksiders 2, or when am I doing Darksiders 2, because it seems kind of inevitable. I am definitely going to, but I don't know when. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even do it this year. I don't know if I'll get around to doing it in 2015. But it's going to happen. I would say more likely it might happen next year. I tried to not make this like a 2-year out promise, but again, no guarantees. This is a really great series. This is really, really great. And I'm happy to show more of it off. And I'm glad that you guys seem to enjoy this game. That's about going to do it for me, even though the credits aren't finished rolling. I hate when that happens, because credits... Oh my god, they're so long. Split it up into 2 columns. At least it's not going to be an Assassin's Creed 3 or something. That game still has, like, the most egregious credit sequence I've ever seen. So, while we're closing things out, be sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, favorite, do all of those cool things. The reason why is because it helps more people find the channel. Plus, I like reading your comments. I've read every single one that I think has ever been left on the channel or on the videos, which is a fucking ton. But I enjoy reading them. Also, Patreon donations are not only welcome, but greatly appreciated, because they help me put more time into the channel, and that in turn leads to much higher quality content. And that's kind of what you've all come to expect from me. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy, have a good one. I'm going to let the rest of the credits play themselves out.